Hey, hey, hey. All right. So today we're talking about setting boundaries with our money. If you are generous with your money, but you still feel stressed, then guess what? This is where you need to be. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. If you've been here before, welcome back. If it's your first time, Talk Tuesday is our weekly segment where we go over tips to help you enhance your finances. I'm Coach D, your financial coach, and I want to help you to reach and exceed your financial goals while still enjoying life in the process. So thank you for being here. We're here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern here on YouTube. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Today's topic is your money needs boundaries. So, why or what are boundaries for our money? So, what is it? We need to have boundaries for our money. Those boundaries are what are going to set limits for us to help us to protect our financial goal, to help us protect our priorities in life, to make sure we have peace. Because without those boundaries, we are quietly losing money. We might not realize it. We might not realize the impact of it. We might not realize that, what we're doing is going to have, a bad effect. Ultimately, it takes time for us to see it, and for some people, it happens quicker than others, but we don't see it. And in advance, I would encourage you to set boundaries, or if you're already doing things, it's not too late. Set your boundaries now. So, when do we, need those boundaries to show up? Typically, it's with our friends, it's with our family. Those are who we kind of let our boundaries hang low. It's like, oh, okay, all right, that's my such and such. That's my, I gotta look out for such and such. So not setting those boundaries typically is with people who are the closest to us because it's hard because we love them and we don't want to feel guilty. And if I can help, why not? And so and it's not bad to want to help, but you definitely want to be mindful of, your finances, your priorities, and your peace because it affects all of that when we don't have those boundaries. Sometimes we might not have our boundaries set for our finances or not even think about it when we go somewhere. So it's like, say you're out and you're thinking about something, you want to buy something, and you opt to use your credit card without checking your bank account. Oh, you know what? It's convenient for me to just pull my credit card out. I don't have time to check my, bank account login, see how much is in there, see if I have to move something over. Just grab your credit card because it's quicker. Let's hurry up. Let me go do this. This is something that, you need to get boundaries on because that could be affecting you in many ways because if you're not someone who, now you use your credit card, if you don't go straight home and pay it back, with what's in your bank account, then that's going to cause other things and it's adding to your debt and things like that. So you have to have your boundaries. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Gotta have those boundaries. So, sometimes we don't set those boundaries. We don't want to disappoint others. We don't want them to, if you're usually always the person that pays or always the person who, helps when someone's short and things like that, then at time when you want to say no, then you feel bad because you're like, oh, in your mind, caring I know that this is going to affect them, or I know that they don't have it, or, I just don't want to disappoint them. I always do it. I always get it for them. And sometimes we get in the habit of always getting something for someone, always taking care of something for someone, but we don't see how much it's hurting us. We don't see how much it is setting us back. Just because you have it to give doesn't mean you have it to give. Okay, you might have it in your bank account and it's available to help someone, but you don't, what's coming up next? What might you need it for? What might it save you, you know, from using your credit card? So that's why it's important to just think about it. Sometimes we just feel responsible for everyone. We want to take care of this person, take care of that person. I got this, I got it. It's easier for me to get it back than it is them. Well, you know, they have to get better. Not to say it harsh, but they have to get better. So sometimes we want to be so helpful for others and be there, be the support for them, but they've got to do it on their own. If you keep doing it for them, guess what? They're not going to do it because they always know you're going to do it, and it's going to hurt you. Such a true statement. Yes, 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 yes. And we don't realize it because we're just being helpful. We're loving. I'm always there for this person, or I always, I got it. And sometimes just in the reverse, the person knows that you have more, so they they feel like you have it. You can do it. You'll do it for me. So be mindful of that. So I have a couple scenarios to talk about. When you um, are not setting boundaries or what happens when you don't have those boundaries. So just like what I just was talking about, covering, expenses for others. Every now and again, you're going out to eat. It's like I'm always the one that's paying, not me per se, but like, just speaking for you, like, you're always the person that pays. And it's just what you do. And your boundary could be, instead of paying all the time, maybe I'll pay some of the time. Or it could be I'm not paying anymore. you know, your boundaries are your boundaries and you have to set them. But that's just an instance where, you need a boundary. Lending money to someone without knowing when you're going to get it back. That's a big one. Because some people, if you don't like make it a big, like not a big thing, but if you don't, get serious about it and get the specifics of it, when are you going to get paid back? How are you going to get paid back? Are they going to have it all? Are they going to give it to you in payments? That's something you need to discuss in the beginning. Because again, if someone feels like you have it and, you can wait, you get around people who, or you'll get experience people who they feel like because they have less than you and they can pay you back when they get around to it or when they don't need it or when they have extra. So when they have it, they might not give it to you because they know you don't need it right now. They need it. You don't need it because you're all right. You're doing better. So that's another reason why we need to set our boundaries, because that right there will put us in a situation where we're, they don't care and we're caring more than them. Take turns paying is an option. That is an option. And that's a good part of boundaries. I pay all the time. You pay sometimes. I'll pay sometimes. It sounds like you're speaking to me today. I might be. And I'm glad I'm speaking to you because I want us to set our boundaries with our money. I don't know. We're just caring people. So set those boundaries. Another boundary could be saying yes every time someone invites you somewhere. Oh, I'll be there. Sure, I'll be there. Sure, I'll come this weekend or Tuesday or Thursday or Friday or you're just like always like, all right, let's do it. I'm there. Set boundaries with that because that costs. Now, of course, if you can afford it, enjoy yourself. But if you can't afford it and you can't afford it, then set boundaries. I won't go out 4 times a week. Maybe I'll go out twice. Maybe I'll go out once. Think about it, how much it costs each time. If it is something that's affecting your finances or your financial goals or just your peace. If you're going out and you're enjoying yourself, but when you get home and you think about how much you spent and then it puts you into like you gotta take a deep breath, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to work things out now that I've, spent all this money going out? Like we have to think about these things. So definitely set your boundaries. Set your boundaries. Your money needs boundaries. That's a perfect topic. Your money needs boundaries. It really does. And we have to set those boundaries for our money. I have on here using your credit card for others. So that's a big one. A lot of times we won't say that we don't have it because in our mind or in the person's mind, we're doing better. So, we should have it. So we'll use our credit card. Something maybe we can't afford to cover, we'll use our credit card. Just thinking back to, back in college when I had credit cards. And it wasn't that I was thinking that I didn't have it, but I had no boundaries with my money. So I was going out, I'm going shopping and, going to the mall, buying all this stuff that I did not need, but I had a credit card. So you want something, you grab something, it didn't matter because I had no boundaries with my money. And that's something we don't realize or we might not pay attention to, that we're just spending, swiping those cards because it's not really coming out of our pocket right then and there. It's coming out of, our little payments that we're making, if you're paying the minimum, of course, so it doesn't hit you as hard. Now when you get older, you're trying to do things, you need this credit, and you see how much is available and how much you have to pay off to, increase your credit score. Or, if you're trying to buy something and your debt to income is affecting that, this is when it becomes important for us. But when we're younger and we don't have those financial boundaries, we don't realize it. We're just living life, enjoying ourselves, and sliding the card because we have it, or we have two, or we have three. So, yeah. So, those were my needs. I needed to hear this today. I love this topic. Oh, I'm glad this topic was for today. Can I tell you a secret? This was supposed to be next week's topic. I'm letting you in on a secret. This was supposed to be next week's topic. And when I scheduled it, and I put the flyer up and everything like that and scheduled the live so that it shows on YouTube that this live is coming soon, I put the wrong one up. So I just went with it. But this was supposed to be next week's topic, so it was for you. So I'm glad you needed to hear this today. So that is why it happened this way. That is why. That is something. Yes. But those are my scenarios. I don't want to, make anyone feel uncomfortable. But this is a great topic. It's an important topic. It's a topic we need to have. And I'm glad we had it today. While someone knew I needed it. Yes, yes, yes. And you're not the only one. Others listening to this need it as well. So I'm glad that it happened to be this week. All right. So I'm going to give you some reflection questions to just think about. Of course, not type anything up, but just to think about, think about where you are overspending out of feeling like you have to, like we spoke about friends and family. Where am I spending, too much because I feel like I have to? Not because I have to, not because it's something that's required of me, but because I feel like I have to. I feel like it won't get done. Think about that. Think about where's it happening mostly. And just sit with that. Think about it. And then from there, create a boundary. Okay. And then another reflection, I would say, when someone's asking me for something and I know maybe I don't have it, or maybe, this isn't the time for it, and it'd be better if I didn't give it this time because I have things coming up, how do you feel after you say yes? When you didn't have it, or you didn't have it to give, not you didn't have it, you didn't really have it to give, but you said yes anyway. How do you feel after you say yes? Do you feel good because you helped someone? Are you feeling like in a different space because I shouldn't have said yes? I've got to stop saying yes. So just think about that. Think about that. Take a moment and pause. And then from there, set another boundary. That's what it's about, setting boundaries. Okay, so if you are someone who doesn't have boundaries or needs more boundaries with their finances, I invite you to download my free financial help check. It's titled 5-Minute Financial Help Check. It's 3 pages. Download. You go to enhancingyourfinances.com. It's my website. As soon as you open up, at the top, there's a button. There's 3 pages. And, I said it last week, and I'll say it again this week. Page 1, I list numbers for you to fill in. Page 2, I give you equations to create with those numbers from page 1. Page 3, based on those answers to the equation, I let you see, this is where you are, this is what you need to do, this is going well, this might not be going well, but since I'm here, I need to focus on this. So it's a good space to start. So go download that. If you're someone who's looking to, get to work, my community will be opening shortly in a couple weeks. Right now, the wait list is open. You can also go to enhancingyourfinances.com, go to any of my social medias and click the link in the bio. I should have had the link prepared to give it to you. But learn about the community. Join the community. You can join the wait list. You can go learn about it. It's there to help those who are trying to improve their personal finances, those who are trying to improve their business finances, or those who are want to improve both. So there's separate paths: one for only finance, personal finance, one for only business finance, and one if you want to join both. So that's something to consider. And I also want to share with you, and our first session is March 1st. Okay. Something I am going to be start doing, I'm going to start doing is having quarterly planning sessions, financial planning sessions. And it's something that I thought about before, and I was having the planning sessions every January. And it was, for everyone who purchased financial planners, physical financial planners, they were able to attend free, and then others could pay to join us. But I'm going to start having them every quarter. So we'll have them January, April, July, and October. And then they'll all have a different focus. So the first one will be of this actual quarterly planning sessions that I'm going to be rolling out will be in April. And the theme will be knowing better so you can do better. So I haven't set the date yet, but get ready for it. If that's something that you might need to hear, you need to be a part of, stay tuned. I did. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in for Talk Tuesday. Of course, I'm here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube to help you enhance your finances by way of discussing different financial topics, whether it be money management, savings, debt, credit, whatever our topic is. So thank you for being here. Hope it was helpful. I hope it encourages you to set some financial boundaries. And with that, I will see you next week. All right, same place, same time. Uh-oh. Look, I'm over here dancing to my tunes. I didn't do it right. All right, see ya.